Welcome back to Left Anchor. I'm Alexei the Greek.
And I'm Ryan Cooper. We are welcoming back to the show after a lapse of years, Mr. Derek Davison, who is the author and I suppose editor of the Foreign Exchanges newsletter. Invaluable.
Publisher. Let's go for publisher.
Publisher. Yeah.
Yeah, I like publisher.
Yeah, dictator for life of the...
Exactly. Whatever the highest office I can get. Let's do it.
Supreme leader, perhaps we could say.
That's nice. That's nice.
Too soon, Ryan.
A little foreshadowing there, but yeah, if your longtime listeners know that if it's Derek, it's probably some atrocity overseas that we need to dig into, and this is no exception. We're doing a discussion on what the hell is going on in Israel and Iran, of course, and some of the broader context there. And yeah, I thought we could kick off the discussion with just a breakdown of what's happening. I mean, this is ongoing, so we're recording Sunday during the day, and still, like, probably right at this minute, they're shooting at each other. But can we start out, Derek, with how this started and why? What's going on with that?
Well, I mean, it started thousands of years ago, according to our president and everybody who analyzes things that way. No, I mean, this exchange started overnight, very early Friday morning, really, when the Israelis launched essentially a surprise attack against Iran. They have, as people know, I'm sure, attacked Iran a couple of times since the infamous October 7th, 2023 attack in Gaza, or for Hamas in Israel. They have had back and forth exchanges with the Iranians a couple of times, but this was much bigger. I think the Israelis said they used 200 aircraft or 100 aircraft carry and hit 200 targets, or might have been the reverse, 200 aircraft to hit 100 targets, but just a really massive air campaign or airstrike overnight that day. They killed a number of senior Iranian officials. The Israelis say they had intelligence that once the attack started, they knew where the senior leadership of the Iranian military would go, and they were able to hit that bunker. They took out the chief of staff of the Iranian military, Mohammad Bagheri, the commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Hossein Salami. They took out the commander of the IRGC's aerospace wing, which manages ballistic missiles and drones. So that they took him out. Amir Ali Hajizadeh. The commander of the Quds Force, Ismail Khani, was killed. We've since learned that Ali Shamkhani was killed as well. He was the basically national security advisor to the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, and was overseeing nuclear negotiations, which was in the backdrop of all of this, and we can talk about that. But he was sort of the supreme leader's man, kind of overseeing that process. He wasn't directly involved in the negotiations, but he was, minding the negotiators, basically. The Iranians retaliated on Friday evening. They've kept this bombardment up. The Israelis retaliated for the retaliation. We've had this back and forth for several days now. The death toll is mounting. The Iranians, I believe, overnight, Saturday into Sunday, killed 10 Israelis in strikes on Tel Aviv and Haifa primarily. That brings the total to, I think, 13 or 14 Israelis. I've seen both figures bandied around, killed in a couple of nights of exchanges. The death toll in Iran is substantially higher. The official death toll that I've seen from Iranian media and the Iranian health ministry has been around 120. And most of those are, despite the list that I gave there of senior military leaders, most of those are civilians.
I mean, to that point, you're seeing, I think, the relative lack of, just a gulf of capability between these two. The fact that the Israelis had such, frankly, shocking intelligence to know that this is where the people were going to go in case of emergency. So you launch a, first strike, and then whenever they're all gathered together, that's a pretty incredible lapse of whatever the system they were using there. And Israel also has, the Iron Dome missile, interceptor system, which appears to be fairly, it's pretty strong, at least relative to nothing, which is what I don't know what
right.
Does Iran have anything at all in terms of missile defense?
They've been taken. I think their missile defense systems have been mostly taken out. Not in this trial. Well, some of them in this latest round, but the last back and forth that they had, the Israelis really focused a lot, I believe, on Iran's missile defense or air defense systems. So no, they don't have very much, and they've gotten some support from Russia in terms of missile defense systems, but the Russians, sell last generation stuff. They don't sell that much of it. They've got their own needs, obviously, at this point. So no, I mean, their air defense capability is significantly weaker than the Israelis. I mean, to the effectiveness of Iron Dome, I would say it's as effective as missile defense can be, which is not all that effective. I mean, we've seen a number of Iranian missiles get past Israeli air defenses and hit urban centers, hit Tel Aviv, hit Haifa, as I said.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's better than nothing, and to the extent that you can expect missile defense, which is kind of a pig in the poke anyway, to do very much, it seems to be doing what it does. And of course, they have help from the U.S. It's not just an imbalance of resources; it's an imbalance in terms of the external alliances. I mean, the Israelis have basically carte blanche to escalate anything that they do against any actor in the Middle East, because they know the United States will come to their aid, even if it's not directly involving itself in the offensive action, as the Trump administration insists it hasn't done here. It will still come in with, as we've done in this case, and we will send naval vessels and other assets into the region to protect Israel from any repercussions. Iran doesn't have a backer like that. So it's, and when the weapons start to run out, I mean, there was a story, I think, I can't remember where I saw this, but that the U.S. shipped the Israelis a big batch of Hellfire missiles just before this attack, and Hellfires would have been probably one of the preferred weapons that they used here. So just the arms pipeline, the support makes it very difficult. It's not just, even when the U.S. isn't directly involved, it's not just Iran versus Israel. It's Iran versus Israel and the United States.
Yeah, right. Well, and the classic logic of any kinds of defensive, system is that you can't really separate those two capabilities, because like if Israel can hit, a bunch of stuff in Iran and yet was defenseless against a huge missile attack coming back, then they would probably be a lot more hesitant than if the U.S. steps up with Patriot batteries and all that other stuff that's like $1 million a shot to protect against the retaliation. Carte blanche, as you say. That's the end of the preview, folks. As usual, we like to mention that this podcast is sponsored by the American Prospect magazine. So if you want to listen to the whole thing, you can subscribe at $5 a month if you want that, plus a free subscription to the website, plus the opportunity for a steeply discounted print subscription. You can do that if you so wish at $10 a month. And otherwise, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.